Welcome, everyone, to the March 12th, 2026 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals in Chatham, Massachusetts. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone is recording the meeting, including those using AI note-taking apps, please notify the chair. Seeing none. Pursuant to Governor Haley's March 28, 2025, signing the Acts of 2025 extending certain measures adopted during the state of emergency for COVID provisions on the open meeting under the provisions open meeting law until June 30th, 2027, the meeting of the Chatham Zoning Board of Appeals is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure the public can access the proceedings provided for in the order. A reminder, persons who'd like to listen to the meeting while in progress may do so by calling 508-945-4410, conference ID 568-282-440#, or join the meeting via the link on the posted agenda. This is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, but despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide a real-time access, but the meeting will be posted as soon as possible on the town's website. In accordance with town policy, the public can speak to any issue or business item on the agenda during the meeting when recognized by the chair. Before I go through the procedural steps, I just ask everybody to shut off any gadget that makes any type of noise, if you would. The first thing we do is we do a roll call of all board members to verify that they're on board with this type of meeting. We ask anybody on the phone to just make sure that they will be able to be identified. The hearing notice is read by staff, Sarah Clark, on my right, and the representative for any appeal or application will present. After that, we'll see if there's anyone in favor, read any correspondences, and then we will see if anyone is opposed or has a question. Next, we take questions from the board, and then we will close the public hearing, move into deliberations, and at that point in time, all votes will be taken by roll call, and at the end of the meeting, we close via a verbal confirmation and note the time of adjournment. So now is the time that we do roll call vote of all board members, starting on that end.
Lee Hovey, I approve this format.
Stephen D. DeBoer, and I approve.
Virginia Fenwick, I approve.
Paul C. Semple, I approve this format.
Ed Acton, I approve.
David H. Veach, I approve.
And Randy Potash, I approve as well. David Nixon, our chair, is not here today, and so I am filling in as vice chair. Let's see, what do we do next? Minutes. Paul?
We have minutes from two meetings, February 5 and February 12. I'll start with February 5. I'll move to approve the minutes as published.
Dave Veach seconds.
And does anyone have any changes? No? Very good.
Vote yes.
Paul votes yes.
Jeannie votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I.
And we have the minutes of February 12, 2026. I'll move to approve those minutes as published.
Dave Veach seconds and votes yes.
Paul votes yes.
Jeannie votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I. That's unanimous. Voting today is Lee Hovey, Virginia Fenwick, Paul Semple, and David Veach, and myself. All right.
Application number 26-004, Adam and Amy Fairhall, care of William G. Litchfield, Esquire, 330 Orleans Road, North Chatham, Mass. 02650. Owners of property located at 1691 Old Queen Anne Road, also shown on the Town of Chatham's Assessor's Map 3I, Block 20, Lot R8. The applicant proposes to change, alter, or expand a non-conforming dwelling on a non-conforming lot via the construction of additions. The existing dwelling is non-conforming in that it is located 15.6 feet from the southeasterly abutter and 21 feet from the northwesterly abutter. The proposed additions will be non-conforming in that they will be located 19 feet from the southeasterly abutter where a 25-foot setback is required. The existing building coverage is 2,137 square feet, and the proposed building coverage is 2,503 square feet, where 2,850 square feet is the maximum allowed. The lot is non-conforming, and that it contains 21,736 square feet, where 60,000 square feet is required in the R60 zoning district. A special permit is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6, and Section 5B of the protective bylaw.
Welcome, Attorney Litchfield.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, members of the board. Bill Litchfield here on behalf of Adam and Amy Fairhall. Adam is actually working out of state today, but Amy is here with us virtually. First, I want to apologize again to the board for the error in regard to the staking, and I appreciate you going forward in this regard. It doesn't often happen, but there were a remarkable number of circumstances that conspired against me. But I think from having been out there, you understand what is involved, a very simple expansion or conversion of the existing carport in part to a larger living area inside, and also to have, as shown there, a proposed garage coming a little bit further to the northeast, I guess it would be. It's a fairly simple request, and it also involves expanding the porch so that it runs the entire, or connects the front of the house to the new garage. It may not be the only house in the town of Chatham with a carport, but it's one of very few, and with your assistance, it will be one. There will be one less carport in the town of Chatham. So what is proposed is fairly straightforward. Again, Sarah, if you could bring up maybe one of the elevations so the board, yeah, that the proposed north elevation will look like that. Obviously, that's a two-dimensional screen. The garage will come out a little bit further. But in this location, I don't think anyone is going to see it anyway. So I'll go into the criteria as to adequacy of site, including building coverage and setbacks. Almost all the nearby lots are non-conforming at 2,137 square feet, or 8.9% coverage is the lower end of the neighboring properties. Our gross floor area and living area is at the middle of the neighboring, the surrounding properties. And notwithstanding the lot size and sideline nonconformities, however, it's adequate for residential use. And I think you can approve the special permit based on the finding that the site is adequate for the expansion of the porch and resulting internal expansion of the kitchen and construction of a real garage to replace the carport. The coverage will remain well below limit, as Sarah indicated in the hearing notice, and we are marginally further from the sideline than is the existing structure. As to compatibility of size, on the third page of the handout, there is a chart of the adjacent properties, at least those in the town of Chatham. Sarah appropriately asked me to get assessors' records or addresses for the abutters who were in Harwich, but I didn't do a comparison for those properties. We have a relatively large lot and a small house, living area of just 1,700 square feet. The resulting living area of 1,985 square feet will still be a modest home, and the coverage is obviously below the maximum. It remains consistent, or it will remain with your approval, consistent with the neighborhood. Gross floor area and living area increase, obviously, but they are still significantly lower than several and remain compatible. As to the extent of increase in nonconformities, as Sarah indicated in the hearing notice, we have two existing nonconformities, lot size and sideline. While within the setback, the garage will be at 19 feet from the sideline, which is 4 feet further away from the sideline than the existing house. And as you know from having been out there, nothing is going to be built on that side because it drops down. So no neighbors are negatively impacted. So there's no increase in nonconformity and practically no real change in that regard. As to suitability of site, the site is suitable certainly for the existing house. There are no environmental issues. While the lot actually has a little piece of the other mill pond that we touch upon. All of the work is outside of conservation's jurisdiction, and it's without impact on the natural environment. It's a scale citing mass views and vistas. What is there now is a one-story Cape Ranch without impact on views and vistas. The siting, of course, is unchanged, and it will remain far from massive. The front of the house will be somewhat more balanced by the expanded porch, even if not visible from any streets, and it's totally without impact on streetscape. There are no views or vistas involved. Compatibility remains residential. Adam and Amy have lived here since 2010. It's their full-time property. home, and they'd like to have it a little bit more useful. There is no change in that regard. As to adequacy of water and sewer, we have town water, Title V for 3 bedrooms. The chair will read a comment from the health agent who has no concern. There are no traffic flow and safety, noise, or utility issues. What is at issue, as you know, is whether the proposed addition of 260 square feet of living area for an updated kitchen and construction of a garage is substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the current non-conforming structure on a non-conforming lot. The project provides some additional small but important space for the kitchen. And certainly, the recent weather reminded us all that garages are useful to have, far more so than carports. It's a simple and appropriate design which is proposed. So in light of the criteria and the plans, and particularly in this notably private location, I think that you can find that the proposed changes are not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Counsel. Is there anybody here on Microsoft Teams that wishes to speak in favor of this application? If so, please indicate. Seeing none, I will read the one correspondence from our health agent received on March 10, 2026. I have no concerns regarding this proposal. For an addition, the property is connected to the municipal sewer. Thank you, Judy. Now, is there anybody here that would like to speak against the application or has a specific question? Seeing none. Questions from the board? We'll just go around this way, and if you don't have any,
I have none.
Ed?
No questions.
No questions.
No questions.
I have no questions.
No questions.
Okay. So, Paul?
I'll move to close the hearing and move into deliberations.
Dave Veach seconds and votes yes.
All vote yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I. So deliberations. Ginny?
Very nice project. Mr. Litchfield summarized it very well, meets all of our criteria, and I would support it.
Lee?
I agree. I think it's a great project. I think that converting the carport into a kitchen and adding a real garage is excellent idea.
Yeah, and Steve, you?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It better utilizes the space that's available, and that's a good idea.
Yeah. Mr. Veach?
I agree. I've always thought that carports were not a good match for Cape Cod, so I think it makes a lot more sense. And
Yeah.
it's certainly not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
And Ed?
Yeah, I agree with all my colleagues.
And I also agree with my colleagues.
As do I. The carport was held up during the storm, I take it. Yeah, very good. And Paul?
I'm going to move to approve the application as submitted. I think the only condition we might need would be that all construction activity and vehicles shall be contained on site or at a neighboring property with the permission of the property owner.
Dave Veach seconds and votes yes.
Paul votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I. It's unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And whenever Sarah's ready, we're going to go to 722 Crowell Road.
Okay. Application number 26-005, Jeffrey C. Refuse, care of William G. Litchfield Esquire, 330 Orleans Road, North Chatham, Mass. 02650. Owner of property located at 722 Crowell Road, also shown in the Town of Chatham's Assessor's Map, 12I, Block 19, Lot G4. The applicant proposes to change, alter, or expand a non-conforming dwelling on a non-conforming lot via the construction of an addition. The existing dwelling is non-conforming in that it is located 15.6 feet from the northerly abutter and 16.7 feet from the southerly abutter. The proposed addition will be non-conforming in that it will be located 15.3 feet from the northerly abutter where a 25-foot setback is required. The existing building coverage is 2,059 square feet, and the proposed building coverage is 2,292 square feet, where 2,850 square feet is the maximum allowed. The lot is non-conforming in that it contains 21,682 square feet, where 40,000 square feet is required in the R40 zoning district. A special permit is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6, and Section 5B of the Protective Bylaw.
Attorney Litchfield, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Bill Litchfield here on behalf of Jeff Rafus. Given the very large audience, you may have difficulty picking my client out, but there he is. Jeff's family's owned this property since 2008, give or take, and Jeff would like to make some changes to the property, which consists of basically replacing the northeast corner of the deck with a structure which will be part of an, thank you, as Sarah just put the cursor, converting that deck to living area, which will allow for internal reconfiguration and a much larger and more useful kitchen with an island and so forth, making the house more user-friendly. So maybe you can get home before 5 o'clock if I go briefly, so I will go straight into the criteria.
How about if you touch on the relevant criteria?
Certainly.
That work?
As to adequacy of site, like all of this neighborhood, it was developed under prior zoning. Every lot in the neighborhood is non-conforming. The site is adequate for a 230-square-foot expansion, which again is largely above the existing deck. As to compatibility of size, the numbers are on the third page of the handout. The resulting footprint of less than 2,300 square feet is well below the 2,850, which is allowed. There is no increase in nonconformity. There's a slight improvement because we're about 3 inches further away from that lot line. No impact on natural environment. As to scale, sighting, mass views, and vistas, it's a modest change at the rear without any effect on streetscape, scale, mass, or neighborhood views. As to town water and sewer, we have both. The health agent has no concerns. So I will skip over the other criteria. And as you know, the question is whether the proposed change at the rear of the lot behind the existing house in place of the deck is substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. I think the modest change, 230 square feet, I know it will allow for improvements in the inside of the house and a larger kitchen. Will not have a detrimental effect on the neighborhood. Coverage will be at less than 80% of what's allowed, and there's a marginal improvement in the sideline setback that we have now. So the house will remain appropriate for the neighborhood, and I think you can find it to be a reasonable request and one that I hope you will find not to be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Thank you. And just for the record, Attorney Litchfield has provided us with a comprehensive chart addressing all of the criteria, and that could be found in the file. And at this point, is there anybody here or on Microsoft Teams that wishes to speak in favor of this application? Seeing none, I will read the one correspondence from a health agent received on March 10th, 2026. I have no concerns regarding the proposal for an addition to this property. Thanks, Judy. Is there anybody here on Microsoft Teams that wishes to speak against the application or has a specific question? Seeing none. Are there any questions from the board? I can do it that way. And if there, yeah, Lee, you have a question.
I kind of do.
Good.
I just have a question as to how the proposed gross floor area seems to be increasing more than just the addition. And I know that there's a crawl space underneath, but that's not usually counted in the,
It shouldn't have increased the GFA. By the numbers that I've got, it's the same 200 square feet,
okay.
230 square feet on the third page.
So-
GFA is going from 3863 to 4095.
Okay, there's, must be a typo.
Typo.
Oh,
It says 5095.
you're correct.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. Nothing gets past the CBA.
We understand that.
Steve, questions? No, I'm good. Ginny?
That was my question.
No questions.
No questions.
Nor do I have.
And nor do I. Paul?
I'll move to close the hearing and move into deliberations.
Dave each seconds and votes yes.
Paul votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I. Okay. Deliberations. Paul?
It looks to me to be a fine project. I don't see a problem with it. It's certainly not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
And Mr. Veach?
I agree completely.
And Ed?
As do I.
Okay. Ginny?
I agree with my colleagues.
I think it's a nice project. It's modest, and it proves the living conditions for the applicant, and it adds some privacy for him and his neighbors, so I think it's good.
And Lee?
Totally agree.
All right, very good, as do I. So Paul?
I'll move to approve the application. Let me ask you for thoughts on conditions, Bill.
Thank you. The summertime construction is something that I've spoken with Jeff about. His builder is coming down later this month again to look at the property. I've explained that given the way things work, we can't start until essentially a month from now. So that's April 10th, give or take. It's possible we can get the exterior work constructed or completed by June 30th. I can't guarantee it. We hope to. But if the builder indicates to Jeff that it won't be possible to close it in by then, we won't start until September. Frankly, we'd like to get it done before the summer, but I just can't guarantee it. If given the location where it is, if the board did not impose the seasonal limitation, but did include the hourly limitations, that would make everybody's life easier.
All right, I'll move to approve the application as submitted with the condition that all construction activity and vehicles shall be contained on-site or at a neighboring property with the permission of the property owner, that no work shall be permitted on weekends, and construction activity would be between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. only.
And that's during the summer months, right? Did you say?
That's during the summer months, between June 30th and Labor Day.
Yeah. So David seconds and votes yes.
Paul votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I.
Thank you very much.
That's unanimous. All right. Second to the last, we have 12 Clark Meadows Way, which is something that we've heard, and so today we're going to hear what's new. Sarah?
Application number 26-003, Jatine and Anna Patel, care of Lila Warner, P.O. Box 1249, Sandwich, Mass. 02563. Owners of property located at 12 Clark Meadows Way, also shown in the Town of Chatham's Assessor's Map 5B, Block 19C, Lot 13C. The applicant proposes to change, alter, or expand a nonconforming dwelling in a nonconforming lot via the construction of additions, decks, and the installation of exterior mechanical system appliances. The existing dwelling is nonconforming, and it is located 28 feet from the Coastal Conservancy District. The proposed additions slash decks will be nonconforming, and that they will be located 24 feet from the Coastal Conservancy District, where a 50-foot setback is required. The proposed exterior mechanical system appliances will be nonconforming, and that they will be located 40 feet from the Coastal Conservancy District, where a 50-foot setback is required. The existing building coverage is 1,697 square feet, 11%, and the proposed building coverage is 2,030 square feet, 14%, where 15% is the maximum allowed. The lot is nonconforming, and that it contains 22 square feet of buildable upland, where 20,000 square feet is required in the R20 zoning district. A special permit is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6, and Section 5B of the Protective Bylaw. This was continued from February 12th, 2026.
Welcome, Ms. Warner.
Thank you. Yeah, so I am representing homeowners Jat and Anna Patel for 12 Clark Meadows Way. Like Sarah said, continuing from our February 12th meeting. At our last meeting, you were hoping to have conservation's comments. Due to circumstances with the snow and everything, we were not able to get to the March 11th meeting. So we were on the 25th, but now that meeting got bumped to the 1st.
Because they didn't have a quorum, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't have conservation's
That's all right.
comments for
Yep.
you. But we do have some changes based on our discussion last time that I'd like to show you. So the point of discussion last time was the stair. The stair at the rear of the house was not well received. We had an L-shaped stair, and we changed it to a spiral stair. We were able to condense it more, have it protrude less, and hopefully it's a little more amenable to you. I took a couple views, Sarah. If you go to the next page too. And this is from their neighbor's house. I just wanted you to see clearly what exactly, where you'd see when you're standing on neighboring properties. So this is what the neighbor 382 Cockle Cove Road would see. This is kind of when you're entering their driveway. And then this is when you're at the intersection. I didn't draw the trees, but you can grasp that there'd be a tree here, at the intersection of Cockle Cove and Clark Meadows. So you can understand how you see the stair at those locations. And then the other point was the cupola was brought up. We're willing to talk about it. We're hoping to keep it, but we're willing to remove the light if it comes to that.
Okay,
So
fair enough. Thank you very much. Is there anybody here on Microsoft Teams that wishes to speak in favor of this application? If so, please raise your hand. I don't see anybody. We have a note from Conservation. Excuse me. And I'm going to read the last sentence first, so everybody knows where we're going to end up with this. Any revisions should not affect any decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals. So they're saying that they were supposed to meet, and they are now going to meet on April 1st. They were supposed to meet on March 25th, but there was due to a lack of a quorum. We didn't get to March 25th yet. Maybe that's a type. Yeah, okay. But let's see. All right, so in any event, they don't think that any changes that they're going to require would affect us. So, good to know. Okay. Is there anybody here on Microsoft Teams that wishes to speak against or has a question? No. All right. Questions from the board? Mr. Veach?
No, I have no questions.
No? Okay. Ed, do you have any questions?
Just one question is, on the staircase, I don't believe it's a requirement that you need it for egress.
Oh, they can't have it?
nope.
It's just, what's the reasoning behind it?
Just convenience. They have kids and just don't want them trekking through the house when they're going to the beach or wherever else to be able to just come up that stair.
Sort of like a squire door almost, I guess.
What?
A squire door?
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
So when the kids get older, they can go to the squire
Oh,
in and out,
yeah.
and
Yes.
no one knows.
Yeah.
It's a,
Exactly.
I guess, a Chatham
good
inside
term.
joke. Yeah. Thank you.
A squire door. An interesting concept. No, I think you've done a good job of trying to adjust the staircase. I have no other questions.
Yeah, I used to use the window, so first I heard of it. Ginny?
I don't have any questions.
I have a couple of questions, and they're probably more conservation questions, so you might hear them again, but what is the disturbance that's going to be in that inner buffer zone for, I guess, in the hot tub area? Is that going to be is the deck going to be on posts?
Yeah,
there? So
it's going to be on diamond piers, so.
So there's just a few
minimal.
holes that you're going to have for the posts? And then
Yes.
is there any sort of foundation or anything under the hot tub to support the
No,
hot tub?
it's going to be a 12-inch deep, three-quarter gravel.
Oh, so it's not,
It's,
okay.
it's pervious.
Okay, so they might ask you questions like that, too, so,
Yes,
thank you.
And Lee?
No questions.
No questions? Nor do I. So,
I'll move to close the hearing and move into deliberations.
Dave Veach seconds and votes yes.
All votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes.
as do I. All right, deliberations. Steve?
I think it's a good project. It looks like that, they're concentrating on being able to have a view of the sound from that hot tub area, so I think it's a nice project.
Lee?
I agree. I'm happier with the stairs as a spiral. I think it's definitely less visual, impact. And, yeah, I think this is a nice project. I mean, as far as the cupola goes, I'm not sold on it. I think it looks more capey without it, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, that's important. Steve, what did you think about the cupola?
I have no indifference to cupolas, so I don't mind having one.
Okay, and Ginny?
Cupola or just deliberations?
thing.
Okay, the whole thing. Yeah, I had an opportunity after the last hearing to talk with the builder a little bit about why the staircase needed to be on that side. And he did explain that the configuration in the house would have been very challenging to have changed that to accommodate the flow, and as you pointed out, Lila, the flow of the family. So I can appreciate that. And I do appreciate the reduction in the mass. Frankly, not a huge fan of a spiral staircase, but it definitely it reduces the mass, and that was one of the concerns that I had last time about the bulkiness of the stairs. So, I think you did a very nice job at the last hearing, walking us through all of the changes, and what was really effective, and is this time as well, is the pictures, the way you lined up the actual photograph from all angles, and then how the projected image was going to look. So I think that was very helpful in getting us to see exactly how this was going to look, and that it wouldn't be too big. And the neighbors' vantage points, I think that's helpful. Regarding the cupola, yeah, I don't love it on that style house, but it's not my house, and I don't have a problem with the cupola.
And Mr. Veach?
Yeah, I think I think the spiral stair is a good solution to the apparent bulk of the steps as they were first presented. And I can think of another solution where someone had something similar to that in the old sail loft building down on Stage Harbor. And as far as the cupola goes, I'm not as strongly, I don't have a strong position on cupolas as some members.
You picked the right day.
But I do appreciate the offer of taking the lighting out, because I think the lighting is a part that I personally have a bit of a problem with. I have a neighbor who has a light on all night, every night, and that's actually how I knew the blackout extended beyond our property, because I could see there was no light on the neighbor's side. Anyway, I much prefer these cupolas not to be calling attention to themselves by having lighting them in them, so I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And Ed?
And no problem with the cupola. Not a fan of the spiral staircase, but certainly it isn't substantially detrimental to the neighborhood, so. And I can understand having additional access for teenagers or 20-year-olds at some point. So I'm not voting, but I don't have any issues with the cupola or the project itself. I think it'll look nice.
And Paul?
Yes, I agree with my colleagues' comments about the spiral staircase. It's not my favorite, but it does solve a problem for them, and I can understand that they would need that access, given the builder's comments. In terms of the cupola, I agree with Dave that it should not be illuminated, but I don't have a problem with the cupolas in general if, in fact, the family would like one. So given those conditions, I can certainly find that it's not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Yep. And I think this is an important spot. You know, it's a very busy beach, and it's a beautiful, beautiful area. And you can see the house, you know, from the road and all. And given that, in my opinion, by what I've heard, that cupolas are really not capey. I'm a capey kind of person. My favorite house is just a plain cape with a chimney right in the middle, and then maybe two windows on each side. I really like that look. That's Cape. This is the Cape. That's a very important spot. So I would prefer not to have the cupola. I don't know if anybody else was going to vote no. Yes, sir.
Can I'd just add to my comment, Randy, on that, because I just realized this. One of the buildings that I own in Chatham is a 19th century, mid-19th century Greek revival. And it originally had a cupola on it. And I actually considered restoring it when I did the renovation of the building, and I ran out of time and energy. But I can also look across the street from that building and see on the Squire building, there's a cupola. And then there was at one point, that building that I own, the opposite side of the street. Again, this is not Cape style, but these were all sort of Greek revival based. The opposite street is now, was formerly called the Swing Basket property. Those two buildings were sister buildings built in the same family, mirror images one of the other, and that had a cupola at one point too. So there is somewhat of a tradition on the Cape of having cupolas on buildings.
Yeah, somewhat, but it's, yeah, somewhat. But a lot of things, aren't right, but they're there. So I'm going to stick to my guns, but I'm only one vote out of 5, so I don't know if anyone else is going to jump on the bandwagon, but that's how I think, how I feel. Only because, like I said, that's a really important spot. It's one of the most important spots when it comes to our beaches.
Yeah.
But you might get your cupola. We didn't vote yet.
Right. You're saying you would vote no?
I would, yes.
Okay, even
Because I
without the
think
light?
that when you were talking about a spot like that, if there's something that, in my discretion, is substantially detrimental, I mean, a cupola, like, you just see that, that's what makes it, why I could add the word substantial. It would be detrimental if it wasn't a cupola, or it could be something else, But I think that when you have that thing right front and center in an important beach spot, that I could find that it's substantially detrimental. But again, unless there's one other person that agrees with me, and there's probably not.
I'll make a suggestion that we take in effect 3 votes. One would be on the condition that there be a cupola or no cupola. Secondly, that if there is a cupola, that it be lit or not lit. And then thirdly, that we vote for the overall conditions on the approval.
So vote as presented. Want to do
Yes,
that one first?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, fair enough?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I
So
understand.
let's ask Sarah.
So the board wants to take straw polls on all of these, not the formal.
Okay. so
And then you'll
as long as-
know.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so the first straw vote is, well,
The first straw vote would be with respect to the question of whether a cupola should be a part of the project
at all.
at all.
Okay. Mr. Veach
I would support that.
and Paul?
I would support the cupola.
Ginny?
I don't like the cupola either.
Okay.
I don't like the cupola either.
Oh, look at that. I didn't foresee that. However, that's that with the cupola. So now we could just vote on the project.
Yes, I'll move to approve the application as submitted. I think, given the location, that we should have the standard conditions, that all construction activity and vehicles shall be contained on-site or at a neighboring property with the permission of the property owner. Between June 30th and Labor Day, no exterior construction will be allowed. No work shall be permitted on the weekends, and construction activity between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. only.
Dave Veach seconds and votes yes.
All votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I. It's unanimous. Congratulations. You got your approval without the cupola.
Without the cupola. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I think you did a great job for your client. Are we supposed to say that?
It's just-
Okay, whenever Sarah's ready, we have our final project, 42 Old Harbor Lane.
Application number 26-006, Harris Family Realty Trust, care of William G. Litchfield Esquire, 330 Orleans Road, North Chatham, Mass. 02650. Owners of property located at 42 Old Harbor Lane, also shown on the Town of Chatham's Assessor's Map 16I, Block 20, Lot MD2. The applicant proposes to change, alter, or expand a non-conforming accessory structure, cottage, on a non-conforming lot via the demolition of the existing cottage and the construction of a guest house. The existing cottage is non-conforming in that it is located 16.2 feet from the westerly abutter. The proposed guest house will be non-conforming in that it will be located 16.3 feet from the westerly abutter where a 25-foot setback is required. The existing building coverage is 2,781 square feet, 4.3%, and the proposed building coverage is 3,320 square feet, 5.1%, where 10% is the maximum allowed. The lot is non-conforming in that it has 3.56 feet of frontage where 150 feet is required. The lot contains 65,200 square feet of buildable upland in the R40 zoning district. A special permit is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6, and Section 5B of the protected bylaw.
Attorney Litchfield.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Bill Litchfield here on behalf of Harris Family Realty Trust, which in terms of real people is Peter and Jackie Harris, and I think Peter may be with us remotely. This is a cupola-free project. I want to clarify that. The Harrises have owned this property for more than a quarter of a century, and they would like to make some changes, not to the house itself, which is a lovely old colonial, but I should also first point out that when you went out there looking at the site plan, you drove into the driveway and you saw a building on your left, that three-car garage, that's not ours. So that's the lot line runs diagonally across that site plan as you saw. It's sort of an unusual circumstance, but it's owned by an abutter at 45 Old Harbor Lane. The issue, as you know from having been out there, is the small cottage behind the house, and we propose to replace that and also eliminate a shed which is next door to it, and replace the two of them with a somewhat larger and much more useful cottage, studio, guest house, whatever you want to call it, for the family. In talking with Peter, he explained that while the house itself is large, he and Jackie have 3 children, 4 grandchildren, 1 more on the way, and they all think it would be a fine idea to have the next generation out in the separate house in the rear. And also, Peter is thinking about retiring, and nothing imminent, but as you know from the floor plan, there's also a sort of a home office out there, which is not a bedroom. It's got a 6-foot cased opening. So it's a multi-generation, multi-purpose project, and I'll go into what is proposed in terms of the criteria. That's the structure there. It's quite small. And as to adequacy of the site, including building cover and setbacks, notwithstanding our sideline and frontage nonconformities, we have a 2.5-acre lot, one of the largest around, certainly adequate for a house built 250 years ago in a studio of unknown age, but with 65,000 square feet of buildable upland. The site is adequate for reconstruction of the studio, enabling continued family use. Coverage will be far below that, the maximum under our bylaw. The sideline encroachment is marginally lessened, not much, obviously, but that sideline is far from that abutter's home, and coverage is not at issue. As to compatibility of size, on the 3rd page of the handout, and as you know from having been out there, we have a very large lot, 91,000 square feet, on an area of larger lots. We have the lowest at 3.1% coverage of the total lot, and lower gross floor area and living area than on some smaller lots. And parenthetically, 4 neighboring properties have similar cottages / guest houses, whatever you want to call them. So if you approve the special permit, and I trust that you will, the size will remain compatible. Coverage increases to just 3.7% of the entire lot, 5.1% of the buildable upland, where 10% is allowed. It will be consistent with the neighboring properties and the surroundings generally, and again, it's set back some 175 feet from the westerly abutter's home, the westerly abutter being the one on whose sideline to which we are too close. As to the extent of increase in nonconformity, there is none. No increase, very small decrease, but no increase. As to suitability of site, the site has been suitable for residential purposes for 240 years, give or take. It will remain suitable if you approve the special permit. The cottage is located at the very, very edge of the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction. There's a small triangle of the proposed cottage, and we have filed with them. They preliminarily heard the matter yesterday. They have no objection. While I haven't seen it, I suspect the chair will read a letter to that effect. Some mitigation will be required anyway, and some other mitigation will be proposed for unrelated matters, but the project has no negative impact on the natural environment. As the scale sighting mass views vistas, obviously it's an historic home in a neighborhood characterized by houses like it. And again, several of them have similar accessory structures. It is, however, actually a comparatively modest house compared to some, but there's no impact on the streetscape given the location. What is proposed is a one-story cottage of modest and appropriate scale in a very private location, screened by vegetation on both the north and the west, but it's nonetheless appropriate for the site. There's no mass to speak of for the replacement cottage, and there's no impact on neighborhood views and vistas. And Peter and Jackie have spoken with their neighbors who have no objections. As to compatibility of use, it will remain residential use. There are no issues as to town water and sewer. We actually have a very large number of bedrooms, but we're not increasing the number of bedrooms. So the issue, as you know, is whether reconstruction of the existing cottage, removing the shed, replacing it with a slightly larger structure, but without any increase in nonconformity, is substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. The main house is unchanged. The enlarged cottage will remain compatible with the neighborhood. The combined gross floor area and living area of the house and the guest house are in keeping with the abutting properties and still less than some. It's a reasonable change in either comparative or absolute terms. It is plainly without impact on streetscape and on a very large lot. Again, accessory living quarters are consistent with the surroundings. So in light of the criteria and the plans, particularly in this location, I think that you can find the proposed cottage is not substantially more or really at all detrimental to the neighborhood. Be pleased to try to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody here on Microsoft Teams that wishes to speak in favor of this application? There's no one here. And I don't see anybody on Microsoft Teams. So I will read the two correspondences. One we received today from Conservation, March 12, 2026. The applicant submitted a notice of intent on February 12th. The project was heard on March 11th. The project was continued to April 1st for revisions in order to be conditioned to meet the applicable law. Next, we have a note from Judith Giorgio. The property is approved for a total of 6 bedrooms, which conforms with the current proposal. A septic permit will be required for a new tank and tanks for the new guest cottage. A 2-compartment tank may be required at that time. More information will be needed. And that was received March 10th, and from Judith Giorgio, our agent. I'll let you respond to that in a moment, if you would, if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, just very briefly, the engineer is very much aware of that. And
Yeah.
as you know, we need approvals from everybody.
Sure.
So we'll be dealing with the Board of Health in due course.
Yes, of course. Is there anybody here on Microsoft Teams, the answer to that is no and no, that wishes to speak against this project or has a question? I think that's no and no again. Questions from the board? Are there any? Anybody at all? No? Everybody's shaking their head no, just for the record? No questions. So Paul?
I'll move to close the hearing and move into deliberations.
Dave Veach seconds and votes yes.
Paul votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I. That's unanimous. And so, Ed, your thoughts?
It's a beautiful property, rather private, except for the three-car garage there. I think no one's really going to even see this, the guest house, and I think it's going to fit in nicely with the existing house, so I would have no issues with the project, and certainly not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood.
And Mr. Veach?
I agree with Ed completely.
Very good. And Paul?
I also agree with Ed. I was out there today. That old cranberry bog is a noisy location. There's a lot of activity, wildlife activity in there. But certainly not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Ginny?
Yeah, I agree. I just want to make a couple comments. I think that looking at the bird's eye view of the proposed, and I think it's very well and thoughtfully sited behind the house, cleans up what's there currently with kind of the shed and so the shed's going away, and the house is really taking that space. So I think it's very thoughtful and will actually look better. I also think that what I noticed too in the plans is details like those brackets wrapped in the white cedar that's being proposed on the guest house, and it connects to a really attractive detail on the current home. So I think overall that project is not just not substantially more detrimental, but an enhancement, very attractive, and I fully support it.
Thank you.
Steve?
I agree with all the previous comments. I think it's a very nice improvement to something that's already a great piece of property, so I wish them luck.
And Lee?
I agree with my colleagues. I think it's a great improvement, and I'm sure it will be well used.
So I'm going to vote yes, and you really had me sold on that you're getting 1/10 of an inch further away, so yeah, that's the selling point. I have a quick question about the bedroom definition these days. Can you elaborate, can you illuminate that at all?
Yeah, there's all, I can, well, specific to this and in a general sense, the assessors say that there are 10 bedrooms in the house. Older houses often have small rooms, and some of them may meet the definition of the bedroom.
And that's actually what I'm asking you. What is the definition still now? It's not a bedroom if it has a 6-foot case opening? Is that the status?
Yeah, yes.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yes, for new, 5 feet for existing structures and 6 feet for new construction, as I recall.
Okay, because I thought they were trying to modify that at all?
There seems to be, and I don't mean this unkindly, there seems to be sort of a continued review
Yeah,
by the
okay.
Board of Health as to the language. The definition has been modified
Right.
several times over recent years. Historically, it was 70 square feet or more with sufficient privacy for sleeping. That was the basic rule. But we've gotten into lots of things in terms of eaves and how much of a cased opening and so forth. But
Yeah.
this has a 6-foot cased opening, so
Sure.
it's not a bedroom.
Not a bedroom, no, and I knew that it wasn't, but I'm still curious as to how that really works. But, okay, so Paul?
I would anticipate the standard conditions in this situation, Bill, unless you think there's some issue with that.
To be perfectly honest, they have not spoken, excuse me, with Mr. Harris about the timing, but I understand why in a location like this, the board might impose a summertime restriction.
It seems as if that's logical. I'll move to approve the application as submitted with the condition that all construction activity and vehicles be contained on-site or at a neighboring property with the permission of the property owner, that between June 30th and Labor Day, no exterior construction will be allowed. No work shall be permitted on the weekends, and construction activity between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. only.
Dave Veach seconds and votes yes.
All vote yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes.
As do I. It's unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And,
It's before 5 o'clock, and I also appreciate the good job you all did at the last property in regard to avoiding the goose results, which were everywhere in the front lawn if you walked around that way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Sarah? What
Just
time
need a
is it?
motion to
Oh, we'll
adjourn.
do the motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Dave Veach seconds and votes
And
yes.
everybody
All
vote.
vote yes.
And
Ed votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
Steve votes yes.
I vote
as
yes.
do I. It's unanimous. And the time.
4:55 PM.
Okay. Good evening, Chatham.